What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and happy Saturday to all of you out there. I hope you all have an awesome weekend. In today's video, we are going to be talking about what else? The EX Volume 3 update, but more importantly, we're going to be talking about a wrinkle to that update that we have not really discussed here on the channel quite yet, which is of course going to be the bannermate with EX Krohnen. So we of course know that EX Krohnen is going to be the next EX fighter added into the King of Fighters All-Star with the EX Volume 3 update. However, that also means that there is going to be a character that is going to get a rerun and a subsequent buff. And which character is that going to be, in my opinion? Well, we're going to talk about it in today's video. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so and you enjoy daily King of Fighters All-Star content such as this, you smash that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, you know what time it is. Cue that intro. Alright, you guys, so in this week's installment of the Saturday Chat and Chill, I figured that there's no better time to go ahead and talk about this particular topic. Now, of course, we now know that EX Krohnen is going to be the character that is coming along with EX Volume 3. If you guys want any updates on that, links are in the description. We've talked about this for the past couple of days now. However, one thing that we have not touched on, nor have we even talked about yet, is going to, of course, be the bannermate with this character. So there's definitely going to be several different options that we're going to be going over in today's video. I'm going to attempt to pull out the old crystal ball and guess what his bannermate is going to be, and we'll just go ahead and talk about a couple of popular candidates for this, and I'll give you guys my opinion. Now, of course, none of this stuff is confirmed, so take it with a pinch of salt. It could very well be any one of these characters or none of these characters, we have no idea. But considering the fact that we are only a few short days away from the reveal of the banner, I figured that this would be the perfect time to do this. So, first things first here, I want to go ahead and get something out of the way right off the bat. So there's one character in particular that a lot of people have been discussing in regards to being the partner with EX Krohnen that I wanted to go ahead and just cover here at the beginning briefly, because I don't think they have a shot in hell at this, because we are not probably going to see BS Nameless as the bannermate. I do not see this being the case. So would it make any sense? Yeah. However, when it comes to the fact that Netmarble has already kind of shown that they're planning on cycling through and kind of rotating SS and then BS, SS, then BS, this time around with EX Volume 3, we are due an SS character. So I do not see a Nameless being the partner for Krohnen, even though that would be the perfect banner for me, and I would just go completely all in on it because I love this character and I love Krohnen as a result. But at the same time, I just don't see that happening, and I wanted to go ahead and just get that out of the way early here, because while Mr. 8-Pack Abs over here would be an awesome candidate for this, he unfortunately, in my opinion, is going to be the one that has the least likelihood. I think that he is someone that we are probably going to see over the coming months. However, his time is not quite here yet, in my opinion. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the different characters it could be. Now, the first character I want to go ahead and talk about proper here is going to be SS Kula. So SS Kula, in my opinion, is going to be the bannermate. This is the one that I would pick out of everybody. There's a lot of different reasons as to why. Personally, for me, I think that canonically it only makes sense. If you really think about it also, recently we had EX Kula as part of the EX Volume 1 banner, alongside the rerun of SS Iori. We had a rerun for SS Shizuru. We had EX Angel. We've had BS Leona. We now have EX Krohnen. We've had all these different characters, and one of the things that they have been trying to accomplish in doing that is being the fact that we had that survey where we all voted on which character or characters we felt like needed to be buffed the most. And we saw that they are planning on going and skimming off of that list for all of these reruns and taking into account the amount of votes these characters got. if you take a look at the results for the SS characters, no matter what region it was, you'll see that SS Kula pretty much ran the board, right? So you can also see from those lists which characters they've already rerun from this, and then you can obviously tell that they are sticking by their word and trying to stick with the characters near the top here. So in my opinion, SS Kula, he is long overdue. This is a character that is definitely due for a buff and an EX as a result. So in my opinion, this character is probably going to get buffed. He's going to get the change-up kit added to him, and he is probably going to be extremely, no pun intended, strong. So this is the character that I would definitely pick out of the group. Those other ones we're going to talk about, but I think that just based on that survey result, as well as the things that we've already talked about, there's other little things too that people would like to point out, but I try not to read too much into, like the fact that he was a striker in that little GIF that they posted on the forums for the event for Krohnen. In my opinion, that means very little, but hey, you never know. But I do think Kyo makes all the sense in the world as the bannermate, and this is the one that I'm going to go ahead and put my name in the hat for as far as who I think will be his bannermate. So that is going to be my pick, but there are other options that are very valid, so we're going to talk about those next. So the next two options are going to be the last two options, but these two here I do believe are lower as far as the opportunity for them to get rerun on this, because I really just don't see it happening. I think that these characters, if you really take a look at it, considering the fact that Netmarble again is trying to stick close to that survey, these guys, they don't really necessarily measure up, but you never know. I could definitely see at least one of them being a potential bannermate, but I think the other one's a very big long shot. So speaking of the next one, it's going to be SS Kula, right? So SS Kula obviously makes sense if you consider the fact that she is on the same team as Krohnen in KOF 15. This would make the most sense. For those of you who have been with the channel for any discernible amount of time, you would know that this is a character that when she released alongside SS K-Dash, she was one of my favorite characters at the time. I really liked her. I unfortunately decided, because that banner was so weak by comparison and we had other things that were coming up at the time, I decided to go ahead and only get her to A3, but she is a character that I still do use despite that. Typically though, it's going to be relegated to PvAI and so on and so forth, but even still, I do really greatly enjoy this character. Unfortunately, she was paired up with a character that was very ill received, so unfortunately a lot of people did not pull in general on that banner, so she kind of got overlooked. And I tried to, at the time, vouch for her and let people know that she was a very solid little character. And honestly, if she were to get buffed, I'd be really happy. She's a character that has some really cool animations on her kit, particularly with her finishers. I'm a huge fan, actually, of her core finishers animation. And in general, I really like this character. And if she were to be the bannermate, I think it would make sense. And I think it would also be really cool. So this is an option. I don't necessarily think that she is anywhere close to being as strong of an option as SS Kyo, but if I had to pick a strong runner-up, I would go ahead and pick her. So that is going to be the next one. Now the next one we're going to talk about, this last option here, is the one that I feel like has the least opportunity, but there is still that potential there, and that's going to be SS K-Dash. So this, coincidentally enough, was SS Kula's bannermate, and this character here, in my opinion, while he does have some case to be made, I really don't see it happening. This is a character that just, honestly, you guys, I think that a lot of K-Dash fans out there, even if he were to be announced as the character getting the EX change-up kit, as well as getting the buffs as a result, I think that a lot of them would have like flashbacks over this, because this character was so ill-received and K-Dash fans were so ticked off whenever he got dropped that I don't necessarily think it's going to be someone that would be getting a lot of support from the community as a rerun. So while he does canonically make sense alongside Krohnen, I don't necessarily think that that means much when you consider the fact that there's just better options. However, from a canonic standpoint, if you really want to take a look at it, he would make a lot of sense. So in general, I think that this is the weakest of all the options, not named Nameless. But at the same, not named Nameless, that's a statement only you could make in King of Fighters, right? But in general with K-Dash, I think that this is a character that will eventually get his rerun. He will get his time in the sun, just like all these characters. but I don't think that it is coming up over the course of the next couple of days. So, with that said, you guys, those are the options that I think are the strongest. I really do believe that SS Kyo is due. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to cry foul because they really want to see the KOF 15 Iori, and they want to see this character alongside him at that point. However, I do think the writing's on the wall, considering the fact that Netmarble has been trying to stick to the top end of that survey result. Like I said, Kyo canonically makes complete sense with Krohnen, and while these other characters also make a whole lot of sense for the reasons we talked about, I just think that Kyo's time is coming. And if that is the case, I am very, very happy, because you guys know, hell, a lot of you begged me in the comments to stop making videos on this guy because at the time I was obsessed with him. So I love this character. I still love this character. I love the build. He's just fun to play, in my opinion. And I do think that if he were to get updated, this character could end up being back in the meta in some way, shape, or form, despite the fact that he is still going to be, just like any of these buffed characters, lower on the totem pole compared to the EX variants of a lot of these other characters. So in general, you guys, that is going to be this week's Saturday Chat and Chill. Those are going to be my picks. Again, I really do think SS Kyo is probably going to be the banner mate. That's just my opinion. You guys can let me know who you're voting for in the comment section down below. Is it one of the characters we talked about in today's video, or do you think it's going to be another character we didn't even talk about? If so, let me know in the comments. But either way, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Next time I talk to you guys, we'll be talking about this next update. So yeah, fingers crossed that we get some good stuff, right? So anyway, you guys, enjoy your weekends. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. But until then, you all take care. Peace.
Our opinion